Hey folks, here we are, live from a familiar, I hope, filming location in New York City. Yeah, we have this guy behind me, who I think is called Fortitude, if I'm correct. And I thought this would be a fun idea to come to some of the other locations that we've been at in New York City. Most recently, I've been sharing live streams from the Firehouse, from the premiere, and from other things. And as I work in New York City, it's pretty easy for me to just kind of drift down here in my lunch hour and show you some of the cool other locations from Ghostbusters. Hey Astro, how you doing? So yeah, I mean, and I think it's fairly obvious where we are, but you know, if you want to hazard a guess in chat as to where you think we are that might be iconic to Ghostbusters, just let me know. I mean, I'm trying to think where we might be right now. So welcome if you're just arriving in chat. Astro said didn't like Frozen Empire that much. It's okay, because this location was in both Frozen Empire and the original Ghostbusters, which is why I thought I'd head down here today and have a conversation with folks here from this location. So, New York Public Library by any chance? Edie is saying. I think you might be right. You might be right. Let's double check and see if you are actually, in fact, correct. Yeah, I think you're right. You are correct. We are at the New York Public Library right now. And here to chat all things Ghostbusters, because we're literally at the location here where, in the very first Ghostbusters, our buddies ran down these steps, scared of the library ghost, and their first encounter with that library ghost that we saw again in Frozen Empire recently. Astro's in Manhattan right now, Times Square, but leaving for Florida. Okay, cool. Well, enjoy Times Square. I hope you have a nice time. I literally walked through there, so maybe we passed each other. Who knows? We may have walked past each other. I was, in fact, I walked through the bottom of Bryant Park, and then came around here to the library. So we are at the New York Public Library, famous filming location of Ghostbusters. Happy to show you anything you want from this location. Throw that in chat. Tell me what you're interested in seeing. Tell me anything that you think about Ghostbusters, because we're still talking about Ghostbusters on the channel. If you don't want to talk about Ghostbusters and just want to talk about New York filming locations, that is also totally cool. I'm very interested in any of those topics. But yeah, you can see the lion behind me. So this is, I believe, they're named Fortitude and Patience. I think this one is Fortitude. Hey Rebecca, how you doing? And then the one over here that you can see, I think that one is Patience. So yeah, Patience and Fortitude, the two lions. And of course, famously, let me see if I can try and get. I know people are trying to take photos, so I always feel bad getting into people's photos, but. This is really. Am I in your photo here? Okay, I thought I'd be in your picture. But this is where the lion came to life with the bag ghost. It was literally here in the bag. Whoop, I'm gonna fall downstairs here. The bag ghost's paws. It was literally there. That's it. And if you want to see anything specific, obviously let me know. I'm pretty sure that if we turn the camera around again, I'm just aware of not getting in the way of these folks, but I'm going to come down here. So there was an awning up here in front of this building when they shot Ghostbusters Afterlife, but this is pretty much the spot where the Ecto-C pulled up, and they parked it. And then kind of ran up these stairs, and also if you had a keen eye when you were watching Ghostbusters Afterlife, this sign that's over here, the one that you can see right there, actually had a sign for a concert by Dana Barrett written on it. So people have been saying, why was Dana not in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire? She was featured with an Easter egg, with her name being a cellist for a cello concert. Rebecca's saying it's so big. It really is big. And when I was coming down these steps here just a second ago trying to talk to you, I did miss one of those steps and almost fell to the floor like Ray Stantz did in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. So yeah, and the steps are kind of they're smaller steps. You know, you can see that they're not like a full step. They're a kind of half step. Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'll try not to fall over anymore if I can help myself. But yeah, they are big. They are really big. So you can see why in Frozen Empire, Ray needed help from Patton Oswalt's character to give him a boot up here, and this is literally where they did it. And he's trying to get up here to get to the bag because it's, you know, between the paws of the lion. And I think this basically is the shot right here, the shot where the lion comes to life and turns its head now at him and has a go at him and then attacks him, and he comes over here and kind of falls to the ground just in front of this area here. Yeah, it's really interesting when you see things not set up in the film and you can kind of link them together in a slightly different way. It does change the way you see things. So I'm just going to come to this lamppost because I think this lamppost here and this one over here were the two lampposts where there was trash out on the street and they were looking for the bag. And then of course this is the perspective, if I turn the camera around, the shot of Phoebe shooting the lion's tail off just here. So I think it was actually trying to not get in these people's photos. But yeah, I think this is the perspective here of the shot of her shooting at Fortitude. And as we know, Winston was like, "Why did you have to shoot Fortitude in the face? Why did you have to do that?" Yes, and Astro, you're right. It was actually a stage in London, but obviously a stage in London that was created to look like this location. And they actually came here and they did background photography when they were doing the New York shoot of all of this area. So they had the kind of perfect backdrop for everything. But as you can see here in the movie, there's an awning. See this awning up here with that was up there during the shoot that they were doing. So yeah, that was in the film, but now it's gone. New York changes quickly. They're changing face of New York City. Things are always moving, always changing. Cool. So, what else do you want to see? Because I can take you places. I can't take you into the library on a live stream. They won't let me do that. But I can show you other things if you would like to see that here at the New York Public Library. In fact, while I'm waiting for you to throw stuff in chat, then I'll take you over to Patience, the other lion. Question from Ryan. Hi Ryan, thanks for joining the live. The firehouse is a real location. Yes, it's on Moore Street in New York City. If you check out my other live streams, I actually live streamed from there Thursday last week from the firehouse. And actually, there's a couple of videos on my channel. I have a very good friend, Nick, who has a replica Ecto-1 that we've driven down to that firehouse. And had a lot of fun in New York City with the actual Ecto-1. So it's a lot of fun. Okay. Who else has any questions for me? I'm happy to answer them. I'm happy to show you anything else here from this location. As I was saying earlier, this lion here, I believe, is the lion from the very opening shot of Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters. It starts with the lions here and then pans down and then goes inside to the library with the librarian walking around the aisles of the library, and you see those really cool little gags. So, you know, the books crossing over and floating and the drawers opening with the file cards coming out, and that's the epic start of the Ghostbusters movie right here. Ecto1J says, are you going to be at the Firehouse for Ghostbusters Day? Yes, I will be at the Firehouse for Ghostbusters Day. And if you're not familiar with Ghostbusters Day, it's the anniversary of the original release of the first Ghostbusters movie in 1984. I think it's June 8th, I think. Somebody can correct me in chat if I'm incorrect. And there's going to be a huge gathering at the Firehouse in New York. So Ryan was asking about the actual location. Well, Ghostbusters fans from all over the country and all over the world, in fact, are going to be in New York on that day, celebrating Ghostbusters Day, and they're going to come to the Firehouse. And so, yeah, there'll be a huge gathering, and I will definitely be doing some live streaming from that gathering. So, you know, if you're interested in that kind of, drop a subscribe, and I can bring that kind of live content to you, and you can be part of the fun. It was a lot of fun when we were here for the premiere of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. That was a super fun time, and yeah, a lot of Ghostbusters fans here. Ecto1J is saying, coming from Maryland. Wow, that's fantastic. Well, hopefully I'll bump into you. That'll be awesome. Come and say hi. Rebecca's saying, the way that those index cards flew out of the files in the original movie sparked my long-time obsession with the Dewey Decimal System. That's fantastic. I love that, Rebecca. Yeah, I can't even imagine having to pick those cards up and reorganize them in the Dewey Decimal System after they flew out of those drawers and created chaos. And as we know later in the film, there was a lot of ectoplasmic residue on those cards, so I'm not even sure they were going to be used again. I don't know what you would do if you found yourself in the library and walked in and all the cards were everywhere in a mess and covered in slime, basically. It's not going to be an ideal setting, an ideal situation, for stuff. Yeah, Rebecca's like, I always wondered about that. We must know. Yeah, why did we not have an answer to what they did about clearing? I'm glad that I'm not the only one that looks at that and goes, who cleared that up afterwards? I think about that in movies all the time. I'm like, who cleared up that mess? Who changed that mess and made it different? So yeah, it's pretty funny. Finley, hello, you're new. Welcome, Finley. Thank you for joining us. And we're at the New York Public Library, and we're talking Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and even New York filming locations, if that's what you're interested in. Rebecca's saying they were probably all blank or something, and they discarded them. Yeah, I think for the real film, that's what they did. Oh, and you can tell we're in New York right now. You know, just a typical New York day, you know. Xmas Bear, hello, welcome to the chat. We're in New York at the New York Public Library. Here we are, and talking about Ghostbusters. So if you want to chat about Ghostbusters, or this is a filming location in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, ask the questions, ask away. And as I said earlier, they have these two incredible lions here at the front of the Firehouse. That are kind of Firehouse? What am I talking about? At the front of the library. It's because I've live streamed from the Firehouse so frequently. But yeah, they have these two lions which are iconic, and made iconic partly because of the original 1984 Ghostbusters movie. And so I thought, you know, why not come down here and have a chat about this location rather than the Firehouse today. Rebecca's saying that they've never been to New York, but it's on the list. Yeah, you definitely need to get here. It's an awesome city. It's you know, everything you see in the movies is pretty much real. It's chaotic and awesome and big and all of that stuff. Ryan, hello. Ryan went to see Frozen Empire 3 times. Good for you, sir. That is the amount of times I have seen Frozen Empire. So we're neck and neck right now. And Christmas Bear saying, I'm currently creating a stage for my animatronic. Oh, cool. Tell me more about your animatronic that you're creating. What is it an animatronic of? Finley's saying, have I seen the new film? I have. If in chat you want to answer Finley, if you're in the chat, about whether you've seen the new film, feel free to do so. Rebecca's saying, need to see it again. How many times have you seen it, Rebecca? I know that you've been on the chat a few times and certainly gave us your rating for the Ghostbusters movies when we did the live stream on Tuesday night. Was it Tuesday night? Gosh, this week's going so crazy quickly. It's kind of hard for me to get my head around everything that's going on. It's been a busy week. Oh, it's a Teddy Ruxpin 2017. Basically a bunny build for a bear. Okay, cool. Good for you. Good old Teddy Ruxpin. I remember Teddy Ruxpin. Yeah, any kind of animatronics take a long time to create. In fact, there's a great documentary series called The Toys That Made Us. And there's a whole episode, I think, about Teddy Ruxpin and how that toy came to be created. And it came from the mind of a Disney animatronics expert originally. So it's a cool story. You see the pigeons have now taken residence. And again, if you remember in the original scene in Ghostbusters 1984, when they ran down the steps, yeah, the pigeons flew everywhere. They flew everywhere. This is that angle of them coming down these steps here. And in fact, when we do ghost tours of New York, one of the first things I did when I did the ghost tour was I wanted to recreate the experience of running down those steps to, you know, create an experience much like that of the movie, to be blunt with you. So yeah, Rebecca's only seen Frozen Empire twice, need to do better. I like it, yeah. The lion did come to life in the movie. This is the actual one. And this is an interesting thing, by the way. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but at the end of the movie, you see the lion is put back together. If you look carefully on this actual version, the real life version, you'll see cracks in it. And, you know, they look like the cracks that were in it when Phoebe blew it apart. It even has a crack in its tail. You know, so who knows? Art imitating life, life imitating art. Which one is it? We will never know, maybe, until we speak to Gil Kennan. Gil, if you're on the live stream, let us know. Did life imitate art or the other way around? But yeah, and if you've been on for a second, you know I've said this, but these lions have names. They mention them in the movie. They're Patience and Fortitude, and I'm pretty sure this one is Fortitude, which is the one that Phoebe blows into pieces. And that kind of puts a death knell for the Ghostbusters in Frozen Empire movie. When she gets caught up in doing that, and the other thing about this area here is that the library. You'll see the library behind me, and then not far from here, just in that direction, is Grand Central Station, and then behind the New York Public Library is Broad, which is a beautiful park, and in the winter they actually have an ice rink there, much like the Rockefeller ice rink. If you bring your skates, you can skate there for free. So if you come here in the winter and you're an avid skater, bring your skates with you, and you can skate behind the New York Public Library for free, which is super cool. The other thing is that it is a public library. So as you'll see, people are going in and out of the library all the time. It's always available for people to go in. Some rooms you have to book because they're designed for research purposes only. And other rooms you can go into and explore, but it is obviously belongs to the people of New York, so it is a public library, and there's always exhibitions and things going on. In fact, there's a exposition here going on that's a free exhibit, and there's another one here on the ore of the Antarctic. You can see it there. Yeah, Rebecca's asking, Grand Central is really close. Yeah, so if you walk. This is 5th Avenue here, so my office is actually on 5th, but further downtown. So if you keep walking this way a little bit, just over there, and then turn down from 5th Avenue, you get to Grand Central. And you also get to the location where the Battle of New York took place in Avengers. So, you know, if you're ever interested in me going down there and doing a live stream, on other filming locations in New York, I'm very, very happy to take you to other places. If you fancy an Avengers tour of New York City, I'm happy to do that as well. Ryan is saying, was caught off guard by how much I enjoyed Frozen Empire because I hadn't seen a Ghostbusters film since 2021. Cool, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was actually different to some of the other movies. It was a little bit more, and I mean this in a good way, a little bit more like a cartoon. There were some kind of fun, crazy things And I absolutely loved seeing the Ecto-1 whizzing down the streets of New York City, which, you know, there's never been as much footage of the Ecto in any Ghostbusters movie ever, I don't think. And while I'm talking of the Ecto, here is where Ecto C parks up in front of the building. But also, I have to say that this area here was where I very first pulled up ever, anywhere in New York, in the Ecto. So we came into New York City in the Ecto-1 and parked up here on Fifth Avenue, and it was one of the coolest experiences literally ever that I've had ever, riding that car in New York City. Right, I'm again trying to avoid being in every tourist's photograph here, so try to put the lion behind me. Let's see, what are other people asking me? Okay, Finley's saying, what was my favorite part of the film? My favorite part of the film actually was part of the movie that ended here. So I really enjoyed the sequence where Ray and Podcast and Phoebe go off on their own little adventure and find out about the orb and the history of it and everything, and come to the library. That was one of my favorite parts of the film. I really enjoyed that. And Ryan's saying the building connected to Grand Central Station, I think, was replaced to be the Stark Tower. You are correct. So it is actually the big building behind Grand Central Station in New York is the MetLife building. And in the movies, they replaced that with, yes, the Stark Tower, which was kind of the center of all of that stuff happening in Avengers. And also, interestingly, if you were more old, like me, that building was originally the Pan Am Tower in New York City. So before it became the MetLife Tower, it had that Pan Am logo on it, which you'll see in older films. Even in the 80s, it was the Pan Am Tower before Pan Am dramatically went out of business, you know, a number of years ago. A huge airline that nobody thought would go out of business. So if you're just joining us, welcome. We're at the New York Public Library, famous filming location of Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters Afterlife, or at least a recreated location of Ghostbusters in Ghostbusters Afterlife, because as it was rightly pointed out by Astro on the stream, that was actually filmed on a soundstage, but that was based here. So this is where we are. And if you have questions, things you want to discuss, things you want to talk about Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, or even New York filming locations, ask them in chat. We're happy to talk about them. Let's talk about them together. And we have the famous lions here behind us that I've been talking a lot about on this stream, that are, as I said earlier, really an iconic image in Ghostbusters lore. And I'm sure that's why in Frozen Empire they returned to this location, because it's such a classic New York location. The beginning of really the Ghostbusters story, at least in the film that we see, starts here. And so, as I said earlier, the opening shot of Ghostbusters is these lions, the lion's face, and then you see the library behind it, and then we're into the story, which is so cool. So like I said, if you have any questions about the New York Public Library, about Ghostbusters filming, or just want to talk about New York in general, then throw a question in chat. And if you don't have a question, just say hi in chat. And if you don't want to say hi in chat, just spam the heart button or the emojis and let me know that you're there and that you're enjoying this. And if you're into, you know, this kind of geeky behind the scenes stuff, like looking at the lions in New York, or anything about Ghostbusters or those kinds of things, then drop a subscription to the channel. This is a place to be. We talk about these kind of things all the time. Finley's asking me how old the library is now. This is a question I don't know the answer to, but I think that Google may be able to tell you. I wish I knew how old it was, and you know what I'm doing now? I'm looking up on the building to see if I can see the date of the creation of the building. But you can bet that it's going to be in New. So actually, there's 3 libraries here based on what it says at the top. Let me show you. So there's the Astor Library, the Lenox Library, and the Tilden Trust, all founded by different folks. Obviously founded by Jacob Astor, because it's the Astor Library. The Lenox Library, founded by James Lennox. and then the Sam Jones Tilden Trust. And I think all of those must have come together. And look, there's the date. So I'm assuming this is the date of commencement of the building, and this is the date of when it was completed. And if you're better at Roman numerals than me, I could probably figure out if I had 5 minutes on a piece of paper. Please let me know. Wesley, Floyd, hi, welcome to the stream. Jesse, hi, Ghostbusters, lots of hearts for Ghostbusters. Yes, we are all about the Ghostbusters here. And I'm sorry I couldn't answer your question about how old the library is. Hopefully at least you could see it in the live stream. I did say if you've got any questions about the library, and you did ask, and that is fair enough. I just didn't have the answer. The architecture is impressive, it's beautiful. Let me show you again. I mean, all of this beautiful decorative stonework, and when you think about the fact that that's all carved from stone, it's kind of insane, really, to think that. And this is the thing about New York, there's such a mix of architecture in this city. So, you know, I'll just swing around here and look up there, and then we've got some of these older skyscrapers here, and then we've got some kind of more 80s, 70s and 80s ones. And you see this mix constantly in New York of architecture from different eras. Again, here, look, the top of this building is definitely kind of a 1900s style older building, and then right next to it, you've got this, I'm going to suggest that's probably like an 80s build, the 80s or 90s building in between it. Again, I don't know that, but that's the way it looks to me from my architectural knowledge, at least. And also, you see these signs in the movie, but you know, this is Fifth Avenue and West 41st Street, where they converge with each other. And then the road that's right here, sorry, my finger's in front of the lens, is Library Way. And one of these side streets has some really good quotes from famous literature as you walk down it. So if you imagine a version of the Walk of Fame in Hollywood, but instead of stars on the pavement, you've got fantastic quotes, literary quotes, which is a very, very different vibe to what you're getting. So yeah. Oh, so Edie is telling me it was started in 1897 and finished in 1911. Okay, I'm going to suggest then that is what those Roman numerals say. So that must be 1800 and 1997, and this over here is 1911. So yeah, fantastic. And the library it's really big inside. It's a huge library, and of course, so Pixel Cuba, hey, how you doing? Yeah, we don't have any stone dogs here, just the lions. I would be much more concerned if these were terror dogs. But I've often thought about that. I don't know if you have, in the original Ghostbusters. You know, they start the movie with stone statues, and they kind of end the movie with stone statues as well, because they have the terror dog statues on the top of Dana Barrett's apartment, which is kind of a fun thing. That there's that mirroring. Yeah, Pixel, yes, Trip, yes, I remember that was you. Nice to see you. How you doing? I hope you're doing good. Trip, a long-time follower of this channel and supporter, thank you for being on with us. As are many others that we have here. It's good to see you folks that join these live streams. I'm really grateful. And if you're new, welcome. It's good to have you. And please drop a subscription and drop a like. Yeah, so Finley, I think we got that answered in the end, that the age, it was 1897 was when it was started, and 1911 was when it was finished. So it's over 110 years old, the library here. And again, I don't know exactly when they installed the lions, whether that was at the same date as building the library. I'm going to try not to fall down these stairs, because earlier I almost fell when I was coming down the stairs. But I'll give you a different view. This is just to kind of prove the point. We were talking about these lions and how big they are, and how there's that sequence in Frozen Empire where this one particularly comes to life. They're not small. Thanks, Trip. Thanks for joining. Yeah, catch up and comment later. Good to have you. But yeah, we were talking about how big these things are, and how you wouldn't want one of those things coming to life and chasing you. That would be challenging. So yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. It is about the same time as Frozen Empire. You're right. So, and I don't actually know what the official age of the firehouse is. There's been a really cool picture circulating lately on social media of a 1900s based image of the firehouse. So a lot of that classic architecture was in that era, and they did build some pretty crazy, amazing buildings in New York, down to the fact that they have incredible bedrock in much of the city. And that's an interesting fact. I don't know if you know this fact, but when you look at the New York skyline, particularly from the Jersey side, and you can see it flat on, the New York skyline has a very tall tip. So where the World Trade is, and then those buildings all around Battery Park are very tall. And then as you kind of progress through the city, you see that the size of the buildings drops down, and then it goes up high again when you get to Central Park. And that's because there's a change in the bedrock. So you can't build buildings as big in the center area where the village is, where Greenwich Village and Soho and all those places are, because just the ground isn't suitable for it. Right, let's look at these questions here. Canter Pike Snaps, I hope I'm saying that right. Love the movie. Great, I'm glad that you enjoyed the movie. Oh yeah, and the last bit with Melody disappearing was sad. Yeah, I agree. That's true. Where does Phoebe and Melody play chess? So that is in a park. Let me just check here. I think it's Lincoln Park is where it is. There's a big archway, and you see the fountain in the center of that. It's basically right at the bottom of Fifth Avenue. So if you go on Google Maps and you look at Fifth Avenue, you'll find that Fifth Avenue terminates in a park, which has a big circle in the center of it, and there's an archway, kind of like an Arc de Triomphe type looking archway, which is a monument. I can't remember the name of the monument. I'm not going to say it because I'm going to get it wrong. But that's where that terminates. And then what you find there is that in that park there are chess tables, and that's where Melody and Phoebe played chess. She would have had to have walked uptown a bit from the firehouse. Not close, I would say. So it was quite a walk. She was thinking for some time carrying her chess pieces when she went to that park. The only other thing I'd just say from an accuracy point of view for that scene is that park's always full of people, even in the evening, late at night. So I think it would be very unlikely she'd go to a park and find nobody else there but herself, unless it was like 3 a.m. or something like that. And then you'd probably find a few homeless folks sleeping in the park at that time. So yeah. Landon, the premiere is tonight in Brazil. Looking forward to seeing it. And Landon, remind me, I think it was you that said that you had to wait, and so you were trying to stay clear of spoilers and things. Just remind me in chat if that's the case, but I'm pretty sure we talked about this before. Ryan's saying it's nice being part of an internet where people aren't complaining about how movies aren't as good anymore. Hey, movies are movies, and I've been watching movies for years. You can probably tell by the grey in my beard that I've been watching movies for years, and I think that time sometimes has an impact on you, right? Things that you thought were amazing when you were a kid have that impact because they were things you saw as a child. And actually, I think there are many films coming out today that are fantastic, and in some ways even better than things that we had in the past, right? Because the execution can be much better. That doesn't always happen. And that's sometimes because of cost or because of studios rushing or for other reasons. And, I have a history in filmmaking. I used to run a film production company, and that process of making a movie is a really challenging one. So I'm always like, let's not criticize it unless we've been part of it, because it's a tough thing to try and make a movie. Right, I'm just moving out of the way of other people taking photos. What else are people saying here? Let's see. Canterpike Snap says, some bits scared me because when I watched it in the movie, some bits scared me because it was allowed XD. Oh, you watched it in XD? Yeah, it's loud. Sometimes those theaters have very, very loud speakers, and there are a couple of really good jump scares in Frozen Empire. Again, for those that haven't seen too much of it, I don't want to spoil it too much, but there's definitely some great jump scares. I remember the first time seeing it that I did lose a bit of popcorn at one moment because I wasn't expecting that jump scare. Yes, but yeah. So, who are my favorite characters in the movie? So in the new one, I mean, I love Phoebe in Podcast. I think in the other film that came before it, Afterlife, I really enjoyed the buddying up of those two, such different characters. Really enjoyed watching that. And I said earlier that I love the scene where in Frozen Empire they come here with Rey to the library. So yeah, that's probably my answer. Yeah, Finley's saying if it's that old, there's probably a ghost in here. I think you're probably right. If anyone's going to be haunted in New York, it's probably going to be a place like this. Ryan's saying the first time he saw it, the screen was tiny. Hopefully he saw it on a bigger screen later. Langdon's saying, one question, did they only record the Ecto scene on Fifth Avenue? So the chase sequence with the Ecto, that whole sequence was filmed, a large chunk of it was filmed on Fifth Avenue, but they did film on Moore Street, and they did film in other parts of New York City. So there's a big chunk of the stuff that you see in the movie that was shot on location here, particularly stuff with the car. And then if they didn't film stuff in the city, what they did was they came here and they took reference material. So I have a video on my channel where we were here when they were filming the actual movie on the streets of New York. And there was a lot of still photography happening when they were shooting that. They were trying to get stills of all these locations. So I was just showing this area here. This part, this is the backdrop to where they draw up the Ecto C here, the bike. And it looks slightly different now because there was an awning up here. And again, if you're not familiar with New York, they put awnings up when they're doing construction work. In fact, I'll show you one. There's one literally over there. You see this? This is what I mean by an awning. But they use it to cover the street and to protect people on the street below because the buildings are so tall. They don't want things falling off the buildings onto people while they're doing stuff. So they came here and they took reference material and reference photography for all of this at that time. So hopefully, Langdon, that answers the question. So a lot of the stuff that you see in those sequences of New York was shot live here in the city. And then they used a combination of the actual shots of the Ecto and then the reference material that they did where they were shooting the streets and the buildings and other things for putting the heroes into those shots. Chrissy, hello, welcome. Welcome to the call. Cameron. Cameron. This is the Cameron that's done a Ghostbusters script. Welcome, Cameron. Cameron's got a library scene in their movie. That's cool. Lazy Jedi, hello. Good to see you on the chat. 40X put me in traction for a week. That is hilarious. Well, it's not hilarious. Hopefully that didn't really happen because it wouldn't be hilarious if it did. But yeah, when you do a 40X movie, it's a whole experience. I saw Avatar in 40X the second time I saw the new Avatar 2. And oh my gosh, 3+ hours of 40X was a whole thing. Like, it's like being on a theme park ride for 3.5 hours. It was great though, what an experience. So yeah, highly recommend any of these action-based movies in 40X. I can't imagine what the chase sequence with Phoebe on the thrower was like in 40X. I bet it was awesome. Kurt, hello, welcome. And Lazy Jedi, I should say, I just saw the second part of your comment about dropping food. So when I saw, I went to see the third Ant-Man in 40X, and there was a family, or I think just a group of friends that were down, I don't know, a few rows below me. It was a sloped 40X theatre, so you could see down and they'd got this tray of nachos and cheese, and the movie kicked off, and there was this big kind of movement in the seats, and they literally threw their nachos and cheese everywhere. It was like an explosion of cheese and nachos. So yeah, you have to hold on tight to your food in a 4DX movie, that's for sure. Trend Aiden, make sure the possum doesn't attack you, the lion doesn't attack me. Hopefully it will stay dead. Or stone. But you never know. I mean, it's New York. Things happen. We did say the library's probably haunted more than just in Ghostbusters, but in real life. Langdon said, I understood. Saw that there are some behind the scenes coming out after the film premiere. Saw some new ones from Ecto. Cool, yeah. And if again, when you're ready and you're ready to see behind the scenes stuff at the New York shoot, there's a whole bunch of that on my channel. We follow the car through New York. We follow the Ecto one doing its stuff in New York City. So feel free to check that out when you're ready and you're happy to see it. Jude, hello. Nelson, hello. Ryan, I saw No Way Home in 4DX, and it was not the choice. Web swinging is not as much fun in 4DX. Again, it can be a rough ride. It can be a rough ride. Jude, big fan. Thank you, Jude. Thank you, Jude. Trent Aiden, the Possessor. Got you, the Possessor ghost. Thank you. I appreciate that. And by the way, those typos that happen in chat, they happen to me all the time. In fact, most of the time when I'm texting people, I can't even spell anything. So yeah, just when I read it wrong, literally, and I'm not interpreting what you initially intended, please just pop it in chat again and I'll re-say it if I can. Well, welcome to the stream, and I'm just going to turn the camera around here because you're going to get a shot here of the amazing line. So you just talked about the Possessor ghost. Well, of course, this was exactly where the trash bag for the Possessor ghost was sat during the movie, right between the feet here of the lion that is, I believe, called Fortitude. Langdon, yeah, amazing how they recreated the lion on the London set. Yeah, totally. I mean, if you don't know this, and I was saying this earlier, but all of this content that is here, all of the setting, I should say, it's more appropriate, not the content, the setting, was recreated on a soundstage. So they recreated the steps and the lions and this first level of steps on a soundstage in London. And then the rest of this was created with green screen. And equally here, so they created the sidewalk and the ground pretty faithfully, actually. I mean, I didn't feel disconcerted at all, and I've been to this location a lot of times. But yeah, they did a very, very good job of reading what this looked like on a soundstage. And as I said, and you'll see some of that if you go to my video on my YouTube of the filming that they did here in New York. And I've been saying this a few times, so apology if I'm repeating myself for people that were on the stream earlier, but I know people kind of come and go while they're doing other things. But all of this stuff in the back here was recreated using still photography that they took when they were on set. So yeah, it was a whole thing of coming here and taking still photography and figuring how to recreate that environment later when they got it back to the soundstage in London. So yeah, and again, I'm not sure how much of you know, Sony obviously did a lot of the post-production. So yeah, they took loads and loads of reference material. And if you look again at my video of behind the scenes of Frozen Empire, you'll see them doing that. Yeah, Taylor saying it's a very impressive statue. It really, really is. Lil J is saying, I'm in California, I'm going to Mexico. Okay, enjoy that trip, but welcome to the stream. Trend Aiden, yeah, that sequence was awesome. Owen's character Ray trying to grab the trash bag while Podcast and Phoebe were trying to stop the ghost. Yeah, super cool. And hey, look, we can recreate that here. Look, this is it. This is the shot. This is where Ray is trying to reach up and get the bag from the statue, and it's right between the paws of this lion here, and that's what they're trying to do. And you can see why he needed a bit of help to get up there to grab the bag, because you know it's not easy to get to. And again, the only thing that's different in real life is, of course, they have these barriers up because they don't want people climbing on these lions, which are so famous, let alone shooting them with neutrino ones, which is what happened to Phoebe in the movie. Excuse me. Taylor saying, my favorite video from you is the one where you upgrade the ghost trap. Thank you. I love prop building. And if you like, and again, if you guys that are on now haven't seen that video, I take a Spirit Halloween ghost trap and try and convert it into something a little bit more screen accurate and make the doors open and all that kind of cool stuff. But I have a video I'm working on right now where I'm building a proton pack, so that'll be coming out soon, which will be exciting. I'm excited to get that proton pack finished, and I have to say that hats off to the amazing ghostbusting community out there. There's so much stuff that you can get to help you build a proton pack, so it was a bit of a joint effort, but yeah, that'll be next on the channel. And if you like that kind of stuff, then feel free to drop a subscribe to me, to follow this channel, to get more. I do lots of live streams like this. The last few times I've actually live streamed from the firehouse. Again, I'm trying to get out of people's photos here. But yeah, I stream from the firehouse, and I'm probably going to stream next week from Dana Barrett's apartment in Central Park, so we can give that one a go. Let's see, who else is saying stuff here? Lil J sub, thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Trandalan saying yes, it was green screen in the UK. It was, but they did an amazing job, as we've been saying. Let's see, what else we got here? Cameron's talking about his script that he's coming up with for Ghostbusters, that there is a fight scene where another Ghostbuster gets possessed. That sounds cool. Oh, Lazy Jedi, there we go. Just talking about the proton pack. Yeah, actually, I've been chatting on social media with a couple of folks about the proton pack, but yeah, it's happening. It's being created. It's being built. So suddenly it's got really busy. There's a lot of people. It's because there's this famous live streamer, not here at the library. What else are people saying? Flutterby, yeah, another awesome location. You're right, yeah, just another classic location. I thought it was about time that I came to another location in New York for you guys to give you a sense of being here in the city. Jessica, hola to you. Taylor, did you release a video where you make a live Ghostbusters experience? So no, I haven't yet, but it's close. So again, that's another Ghostbusters themed video that will be coming out soon, where what we actually do is we created a live experience. We had hundreds of people turn up that came through a live experience where they got to fix a proton pack, trap Slimer. Wow, that's a very loud car. Actually, it was a motorbike, I think. So yeah, that's another video that I'll be putting out soon, because one of the things I love doing, and it's another feature of this channel, is create live experiences. That's why I love coming here, because this is part of the experience, right? The movie experience is coming to these locations and experiencing them. I don't know if you're like me, but seeing the places where they film things gets me excited. It's part of the experience of being into a fandom. And in fact, we have a video from a few years back where we toured all of the Stranger Things filming locations out in Atlanta. Went to Hawkins Lab, went to all those places. So that was pretty cool. So again, if you're into Stranger Things, then go check that out.
Am I going the right way?
Let's see, who else we got here asking things? Jessica, yes, New York. We're in New York. You're right. Taylor, very cool how to have how-to videos to be excited for. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't say that right, but I know what you mean. Yes, it is fun. I've just got to edit them, which is part of the challenge. And with the 40th anniversary of Ghostbusters coming up, there's a big project that I've got on with Ecto-1 NJ, the replica Ecto-1 from New Jersey. That's going to be a super cool project. Really looking forward to that. But yeah, I've got my work cut out for me over the next few weeks with my YouTube channel, with helping out my buddy, and with trying to do a day job and be a dad. So, just a few things going on in my plate right now. Daisy, oh my gosh, yes, I know, it's the Lions in New York. Lincoln's asking, do I work with Sony? No, not officially, no. I went down to the Wonderverse opening with Nick and Greg, and Sony invited us down there. So really, Nick has worked with Sony, and I do, social content for Nick, who owns the Ecto-1 NJ. So Sony now have been, asking for his help to promote Ghostbusters themed things. And if you've got a beautiful 1984 replica Ecto-1, then why wouldn't Sony want you to help with their promotion of stuff? So the Wonderverse opening, and if you don't know what the Wonderverse is, there's a video on my YouTube about that, but it's a kind of experience space in Chicago where they have a Ghostbusters themed room and bar and some VR experiences. And they have a lot of other stuff that's from the Sony catalog, like Jumanji there. But we went down there for the opening and met McKenna Grace, which was super fun. And I've said this on this channel a lot, but McKenna's awesome, and she was so great hanging out with fans. Let's see, what other things are people saying? Matilda's saying, have you seen Frozen Empire? We have. I have. We've been talking about it in chat. Trend Aiden saying I went to the premiere. I did. And there's a whole video about that on my channel if you want to check that out. And the easiest way to do that, by the way, is just drop a subscription, subscribe to the channel, and then you'll find everything there. But there's a fun video of me at the premiere and meeting the cast, and it was pretty awesome. So yeah, Mart is like, what the heck? Jose, did you see the old Ghostbusters? Yes, I'm a fan of the old Ghostbusters and the new Ghostbusters. And this is why we're here, because this is an iconic location from the original Ghostbusters. So, a fun place to come and hang out and be. And let me just turn the camera around here. Trend Aiden is saying that the Ecto is a great replica. Saw the video about things he dealt with around his Ecto. Yeah, Nick's Ecto is a fantastic example of a replica Ecto 1. I mean, I've not seen many other replicas, but it's certainly my favorite. And let's see, Jessica, I think that in Spanish that says I've not got good English, I think. It doesn't matter, you're welcome anyway. I can't translate right now on the fly with Google or anything because I don't have access to that while I'm streaming. But if someone else speaks Spanish and you want to put your questions in Spanish and they can translate for you, go for it. Let's see, Ryan's saying a lot of Star Wars films were filmed in my hometown in England going back to 1977. Cool. Yeah, I mean, somebody's very excited and beeping their horn a lot over there. Yeah, we get it. We get it. This is New York, right? I mean, you can't come to New York and not expect there to be a lot of noise, construction, chaos, craziness, and these things. There's a lot of these things riding around the city. Look, who needs an Ecto 1 where you can get in the back of one of those? But yeah, there's been some amazing classic movies and modern movies shot in the UK. We have amazing facilities in the UK for filming. All of the Harry Potter movies were shot in the UK, and the Bond movies get shot in the UK, and a whole bunch of others. And like you said, the original Star Wars were filmed in the UK, and the sequels as well were filmed there. Lincolnshire, you should go see the Firehouse. Yes, I did a live stream from the Firehouse last week actually. And there's a lot of content on my channel about the Firehouse, so you want to see those live streams, go check out my channel, subscribe if you like what you see. But yeah, there's a lot of content from the Firehouse. It's fantastic to be down there. I just thought I'd come to a different location today, hang out in a different place. So yeah, a lot of people mentioning the Firehouse, but yes, I have been there. Trend Aiden, they probably saw the sewer dragon. The sewer cat must have hit the car. I'm assuming you're talking about the person beeping their horn. Yes, I don't know. Some of those, some of the sewer covers, the New York sewer covers, hit some of those cars pretty hard. I wonder if even the car horn would work after that. But we'll see. It's busy, and while we're talking about sewer covers, it's important to know you can't really tell when you're watching the movie how huge the sewer covers are. But this is one of the sewer covers in New York, and they're big. That is like over 3 feet wide. When you see the cars next to it, you see how big these sewer covers are. So you imagine those things flying up in the air and hitting the front of your car. That would not be a very safe experience when you're driving your car through New York City. So there you go. Well, Hey guys, thanks for joining the live stream. I thought it would be fun to bring you to New York City and bring you particularly to see these amazing lions here. Langdon is saying, I love the sewer dragon scene, thought it was incredible. Was advertised here. It was advertised here. And the great thing was we saw it happening in real life, which is so cool. So if you want to see the behind the scenes that we've done of actually the sewer dragon chase sequence, we were here on the streets in New York when they were filming that with the stunt Ecto. And we saw even AC Martin, who's the stunt double for McKenna, hanging out of the car with a neutrino thrower, driving around the streets of New York. Pretty insane. So yeah, very, very fun to see that. But yeah, but I think I'm going to call it here for the live stream. Thank you for joining. If you're just joining and I'm disappearing, check out the channel. There's plenty of other live streams from New York and live streams about Ghostbusters and live streams about other things. And there's also plenty of awesome content across a whole bunch of things. It was mentioned earlier, there's prop builds, but really this channel is about fandom for movies and trying to recreate some of those fandoms for ourselves and create some of those experiences for ourselves. And so yeah, it's a fun place to hang out, and I love the community. I love talking to you guys. It's always fun to hang out like this on the live stream. I'm going to take a couple more questions and then I'm going to go. Taylor's saying, can you tell us about the 40th anniversary project? I can just tell you at this stage, before we officially announce the 40th anniversary project, and if you don't know what we mean, this is the 40th anniversary of Ghostbusters project that I'm working on. Yeah, we're going to be doing a project that involves the Ecto and involves people's love for Ghostbusters, and that's all I can say for now. Let's see, Trent Aiden is saying, when did the New York behind the scenes take place? I assume you uploaded around the traileries. Yes. So it took place actually in June of last year is when they actually filmed everything here. I'm going to get out of this photographer's way so I've not got a random guy standing in front of him. But yeah, that's when the filming took place, and then I released the footage after the first proper trailer drop, not the teaser, but the first proper trailer, and was able to use that as a way to kind of point at the kinds of things that you'd expect to see in the movie. So yeah. Lang was saying, I was watching the news and out of nowhere Ecto appeared on the screen, and I was like, what? yeah, exactly. Jose saying, do I have figures of the Ghostbusters? You know what, I don't. I have a lot of props, but not figures. But Nick, my buddy, has loads of them, originals and the newer ones. All right, folks, well, thanks for joining the live stream. Langdon, one more question I'll take from Langdon, and then I'm going to call it quits. Do I think there'll be another Ghostbusters movie? I really, really hope so. I hope there will be. I think we need to see how the other international releases go in Paris and Brazil this week, and I think that will really help us to know. I think the movie has broken even now, so hopefully it will do better than that, so we'll see. And Tio, I'm going to answer this question because it's a good question. What's my favorite Ghostbusters movie? Right now it's a tie between the original Ghostbusters and Afterlife. Those are my two favorites at the moment, but I really loved Frozen Empire. I'm not very good at ranking movies because, as I've said before on my channel, my opinion and my feelings about things changes based on what I'm up to. So yeah. All right, folks. Thanks, Trent Aiden. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you everybody for coming and joining the live. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it. If you like what you see, then please hit subscribe on the channel. All are welcome, and always love talking Ghostbusters and talking people's feelings on things. And we'll see you the next time we stream. Thanks for being here. Take care.